Move over, Swanson. I'm driving.
Welcome back to the Caddyshack Minute. This is the podcast where we rub oil all over the film Caddyshack for about 17 hours, 1 minute at a time. I am Tom Taylor, and I am here with Mike DeMaria.
What the hell did that all come from?
This
fuck's the matter
is a
with
running gag that we're complaining about the length of this entire sequence. Ty Webb is now, rubbing oil all over Lacey Underall. Anyway, Dan Lewis is here too.
Hey,
he understands the show.
I do, and while I understand your joke, I also echo Mike, where, you're getting a little crazy with these intros.
They just come to me, and I got to run with it.
Well, I guess oil for 17 hours.
But I guess he's done 52, 53 of these intros, and he's kind of running out of material, I think.
Yeah, come on.
My guess is he does some bad stuff for another 20 minutes or so, and then starts to pick it back up as soon as the
My guess is neither one of you bastards ever steps in and hosts one of these damn things. Sons
true.
of bitches.
I'm going to agree with you there.
All right, as long as we all agree.
How's this minute go? Maybe you want to give us the bookends.
I'll tell you. The name of the minute is 53. It's the 53rd minute of Caddyshack, and it begins with Ty Webb.
Is it an ordinary time?
Yeah, it's 60 seconds. 60
it's like
sidereal seconds.
Yeah.
Well, it's like when you're in church and they say this is the 32nd week in ordinary time.
Oh.
Or whatever.
Right.
I don't know.
It's been a while. Mm-hmm. No, I do remember that. And you're like, that used to blow my mind. Like, what are they talking about?
What are you talking about? I've never heard of that. Is that church thing ordinary time? What?
Yeah, they'll say today is the third week in ordinary time.
Oh, because the Martian calendar is quicker because it's a smaller planet and it rotates faster.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell. Yeah,
I don't know.
It's because the Earth was created in, they say 6 days, but it wasn't really days. It was like 1,000 years, and they're saying day. But now we're back on ordinary time. That was like leap. That was
that was back. That was during the time when. That was back in the time when the Titans ruled the Earth, and Titan days were 1,000 years.
Yeah.
The thing about this
Titans
crazy
forever.
shit is that, I can't even tell when you're making a joke or not. That's how crazy that shit is. If you said, and then we splash water on you, and then we give you a little cracker, and we pretend it's the body of somebody, I would go, oh my God, that's absurd. I mean, why would anybody do that?
And then Xenu comes out of a volcano and wrestles the Kraken, and Zeus has a kid come out of his head, and
Right.
Anyway, all of that and more happens in minute 53 of Caddyshack. But we were going to focus on Ty Webb poking Lacey Underall in the back with his finger, and the end of this minute has maybe the biggest tease of our entire project here, where we get the end of the scene finally, but we get just an instant of the Rolling Lakes Yacht Club sign, just teasing us for what's coming in 54.
There's a great scene coming up, and we have to get through this 60-second slog.
Yeah.
We're like dying men in the desert.
No, you know what it's like? It's like the D-Day landing. We got to get off that boat. We got to wade through that water. We got to dodge some bullets. We got to make it onto that beach, and by gum, we got to make it into that. We got to get off that beach,
right,
before we can get to the yacht club.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
And not all of us are going to make it.
No, not many of us are going to make it.
No, we're not going to all make it through.
But the few that do make it, the few that do, God damn it, I'm still talking here. The few that do make it, I'm on a speech right now. It's like a St. Crispin's Day speech. The few that do make,
barrel forward.
God damn it, the few of us that do make it onto that beach and into that and off that beach will change the arc of history forever.
It's true.
Son of a bitch! You didn't let me spit it out in the cadence that I wanted to.
Can I talk now?
Sure.
We have our first casualty.
After your overly dramatic analogy, let me give a more apt analogy. The more apt analogy would be, this is the snaking line at Cedar Point, where it's just very boring and you're seeing the same things over and over again as you go through the line that goes back and forth. And you know how you get used to that same person in line over and over again as you go back and forth? You get used to seeing Ty Webb and Lacey Underall so much you're tired of seeing them, and all you want to do is get on that ride. And the very end of this minute is like
it's the same
ascending the hill. I'm talking right now. The cart ascending the hill up the first drop at Cedar Point, the Magnum XL 200.
All I was going to say was it's the same as at the airport when you got to check in.
Yeah.
Without the ride, though. It's just you see the person with
just
the...
go on forever. We can just do...
Yeah.
And you tell the guy, please move your luggage up now. The person moved in front of you.
Yeah. And then now that you've like mildly annoyed that guy, you find out he's actually on your flight and he's sitting next to you.
Sitting right next to you.
Yeah. Welcome
can I
to
just
Christmas.
say, I don't know what's happening in this goddamn scene, and I don't care.
Let's
and
just not even
getting
talk
to the
about this
point.
scene.
Something about
We
reaching
shouldn't
under the
even talk
rug.
about it.
I like the Son of Sam line. I'll just say that. They were done.
Thank you,
I give that a
Tom.
5. I give that a 5.
That was going to be the one line that I said, and I still use that line all the time in my life. I've stolen that line from this movie, and I use it all the time. When someone says, you're crazy, I always say, that's what they said about Son of Sam.
That is a great line, perfectly delivered.
Yep.
Chevy Chase is the right guy to say it.
Yep.
That's where Chevy Chase and humor make a beautiful, funny sandwich.
Yep. Even Chevy Chase's humor is right twice a day, 2 times a day.
Yeah.
That's right.
And this is one of those times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even a broken actor is funny twice a day.
Yeah.
Even a broken man who's an actor.
Yeah, a broken
It's
comedian.
right twice a day.
Yeah.
Is there literally anything else that happens in this minute?
No.
He does the thing with a toothpick.
Mm.
Oh, she has a funny line that I never noticed before. She says, she kisses it. He's kissing her at the very end. He's about to like roll off or like slide off her because she's slathered in oil. And she says, it's kind of broken because she's laughing, but she says, it tastes like condiments.
Is that what she says?
Yes.
It tastes
she
like
starts to say, she's like, it
condiments.
tastes like, and then she gets interrupted because like he's sliding off her and stuff. And then she just barely gets out condiments.
I have never heard that in my life.
Because he's been
This
because he just had an olive in his mouth or something from that toothpick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. That is
It tastes
a weird
like condiments.
line.
It is a weird line, but I kind
terrible
of like
scene.
it.
Tastes like
Mike's not
condiments.
having it.
And it ends
Right.
with one of his pratfalls, that he's...
Yeah. You don't even really
trademark.
see.
Right.
You just kind of hear it more than see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know
Nothing
about
will-
pratfall. I like a pratfall as much as the next guy, but I mean, it's no way to top
Sure.
off a 4.5 minute scene. I mean,
4.5 minutes, that's it?
this scene is 4.5 minutes long. It feels like an eternity.
We shouldn't be doing this movie minute by minute. This is a stupid idea. It's taking up our whole lives.
Well, it's too late now. We have to
I
keep
guess.
going.
Yeah, this is whose idea was this?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's boring.
Oh, but look at this. We're saved. I said we got a call. We got Sridhar from Elizabeth, New Jersey. You're on the line.
Radar.
Hey, am I on the air?
Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Caddyshack Minute.
Oh man, I am so excited. This is minute 53, right?
Yes, 53 of
yeah,
Caddyshack.
Wow. Yeah, it's 53.
Oh man, I have been tracking your podcast for a long time. I'm glad to be here.
Oh.
Have you guys gotten into the analysis of the scene yet?
First of all, I don't think we've ever been tracked before. We've been listened to.
I should explain. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't listen to your podcast. I've not seen the movie Caddyshack per se. Well, I was on an airplane once, and the guy next to me was watching the movie Caddyshack on his laptop. And for like a minute, I was watching what was on his laptop, and well, it was minute 53, and it had always stuck in my head. And so I thought,
of all the minutes.
there's this podcast that examines it minute by minute. I'll just wait for them to get to minute 53, and they can help me make sense of this scene that's just been rattling around my brain all these years.
Oh, because
hang on a
you
second.
only saw 53, so you must have been very confused, and you need.
I should also say, actually, I have some questions about what is the dialogue in this scene, because he was wearing headphones. I couldn't quite hear what the dialogue was, but I gather this is some kind of erotic thriller spy movie. The woman has finally gotten advantage of the man. She has knocked him out. He's intoxicated at the end. I do recall at one moment he took off his headphones, and I could hear the woman. She shouted out, "I'll kill you," and then Chevy Chase screamed, "No, no," and then I guess this was in response. I don't know.
Yeah.
Have I gotten the gist of it?
Basically, yeah.
Pretty close.
Okay. Yeah.
He tries to stab her with a toothpick.
He tries to stab her with the poison toothpick, exactly,
Yeah.
and she averts the attack. And I guess, it's been this kind of cat and mouse game going on for a while, because I did see slightly earlier, I glanced, he had some sort of drink. I guess it was poisoned. He threw it over his shoulder. He averted her attempt to take him out.
Her.
Yeah. So
Right.
I'm curious which one of them wins in the end.
Right.
Well, I don't know if we should spoil it for you.
Yeah,
I mean,
we can't for the other.
You're right.
listeners.
You can't jump ahead. I'm
We
sorry.
can't
You're
afford
right.
to
You're
do
right.
that because some of the people have not seen Caddyshack like you, but are also following along with the minutes, so they might
That's
not know
correct.
what happens
That's
in the movie.
correct.
it is
I
a
think
crackerjack thriller, and it would be a shame to spoil it for anybody.
Yeah, but I
Yes.
think it's safe to say that we could let him know that it does end with a big explosion.
Of
Oh,
course.
yeah.
Oh.
It doesn't.
I-
That's
Most
true.
movies do.
Yeah, this Michael Bay was heavily influenced by this movie. That much I'll say.
And he
Yeah.
is right, though. I mean, this scene, I guess you could say it's a Chevy Chase and Lacey Underall is kind of like the Austin Powers and a lot of vagina scene
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
in the hot
Exactly.
tub where they're playing this little cat and mouse
I've
between.
not seen that particular minute of Austin Powers. I was on a train once, and the woman next to me was watching Austin Powers, but
I have a
Yeah.
question for you about this whole thing. So you're on a plane. What sort of is this? This was recently? Or
no, this
it
was about
1980?
3 years ago, I guess, 3 or 4 years ago.
What kind of a person is watching Caddyshack on a plane? It's usually new releases type material.
Oh, well, it was on his laptop. He had brought it. He was wearing a polo with a popped collar, sort of boat shoes.
Sounds like a cool guy.
Yeah, no, that's why I was drawn to investigate this film playing out on it. And when I saw it was such a, sexy erotic thriller, I knew this is a cool dude. But
Yeah.
right, well, I forgot to mention this. He did, in fact, at one point offer me. He had these earbuds. He offered me one of the earbuds, and he kept one to himself. And I thought, oh man, I'm really getting in with my airplane cool buddy here,
Nice.
like a guy and a gal sharing a milkshake at a diner with 2 straws, right?
Right.
But
Yeah.
then I don't know. Things fell apart. We quarreled, and I had to return the earphones, and then I lost interest after minute 53. Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Is that why you haven't gone back and tried to see the rest of Caddyshack? Or just it's
Well,
too,
no, I've tried. It's just I also don't know. I've been able to bootleg a minute here and there, but I don't know where you guys get them all together or like.
Well, that's what we do. We just bootleg each minute and we cobble them together.
I've had some luck, but it would be convenient if they put out a box set or something.
Yeah.
That would be great. To see
Would
this
be
whole thing
good.
in sequence? That'd be
Yeah.
incredible. I'd love to see that.
Yeah. And I think the plot might make a lot more sense if we saw it in order.
I
Yeah.
heard some of the minutes have been lost, reconstructed, but
Right.
not quite the original footage.
Well, yeah, the original, the Orion Pictures didn't keep the original prints at the right temperature. Yeah, and many of them have been deteriorated over time. It's a
Yeah.
shame the way they haven't treated these negatives correctly.
Yeah. You can see in some scenes with they had to reconstruct. You can see that they couldn't get Rodney back, so it's actually Harold Ramis's dermatologist, like with a thing over his face. He's just kind of like hiding, like he's got the hat on. It's just like a different guy. They just needed a warm body to fill the space, and they couldn't get Rodney, so they just get like whatever random person. It's awkward, but it's the movie that we've come to love with all its flaws.
Yeah, right. It's definitely my second favorite thriller after 3 Days of the Condor.
Yeah.
Espionage kind of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly. I was on a submarine once, and the child next to me was watching that film on a laptop. And
Was it submarine at Disney World?
I was going to say that. What ride is that? What ride is that at Disney World?
Is that 20,000
Oh,
Leagues
no.
Under
Leagues
the
Under the
Sea? Were you
Sea,
watching
yeah.
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea?
No, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I was in a buggy once and happened to catch a bit of that. But
Part of Stagecoach?
Yeah.
Oh, you're referring to my experience with The Last Tango in Paris.
Oh boy, here we go again with that.
Oh yeah, you can't bring up that one again.
Oh yeah.
That's come up on this podcast.
Yeah,
If you followed the podcast,
Yeah,
it has
if you-
come up once or twice.
I've tracked it, but
yeah,
I thought,
you wouldn't pick it up by tracking it. But we had to have a very special intro on for a podcast because we went into that movie.
Yeah.
Well, you do. I have to
some
ask. Do you do know that you can go to movie theaters, or you could like rent movies and take them home, or you can have them stream into your home in their entirety, and you can see the entire movie from beginning to end.
I know some people, they have just money to burn, so they'll go into the theater, they'll buy a ticket for the first minute, and then they'll just sit there through the next couple minutes, like children, like stealing from the theater, but, I have... Yeah, exactly. But no, when I buy a ticket for 1 minute, I stay for the minute I purchased, and then I leave.
That's very honest of you. I'm ashamed to admit that I've often stayed for, 90, 120 minutes of a movie sometimes. What? Yeah. When I was younger.
Well, we all did that.
We do dumb stuff when you're kids.
A little bit here and there.
Well, thank you for tracking the show.
Yeah.
That's you
Thanks
can
for
also
tracking.
Yeah, you can subscribe to the show and listen to the show.
Well, I look forward to minute 62. That's about the time when my interest picked up again. We were, my buddy and I, he's my buddy, I like to think of, we were making up around then. So I look forward to seeing what you have to say.
Oh, yeah, we'll get there eventually. And we'll be thinking of you and your popped collar buddy.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for having me.
See you in about 9 minutes then.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Take care. Thanks for the call.
Well, that was nice and bizarre. We got a nice caller with. He didn't.
I just think it's nice. You hear from a lot of Caddyshack fans. It's nice to hear from somebody who's not a fan. Who doesn't know anything about the film.
Or maybe wants to be a fan, but on his own terms.
Right.
Or over the course of years or something.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
He's a fan of this minute. I think that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we should do a podcast, like a series about this. No, I couldn't do that. I don't want to joke about it.
No, don't.
That's stupid.
Any fans of Minute 54 out there, join us next week. Same bat time.
Yes.
Same bat channel.
Yes.
What do you think?
Diddly-diddly-diddly-diddly. I just saw the Batman Lego movie, and it was really good because they kept referencing the 60s show. It was really good.
Oh, that's cool, yeah.
Yeah.
I like that show.
Yeah, me too. Mm-hmm. Except for the one where Robin gets eaten by a clam. That creeped the hell out of me.
Oh, does he get eaten by a clam?
Yeah, he gets eaten by a giant clam, comes and gobbles him up, and you see his hand sticking out of it.
Was a Lego?
No, like in the 60s Batman TV show.
Oh, yeah.
Burt Ward gets eaten by a clam.
I feel like you got to be really slow to get eaten by a clam.
They were tied up or something in this underground cave or something. They were there to be eaten by the clam. They were left there by the bad guy. Mm-hmm. And the clam slowly comes up, and then it recedes, and it's got Robin in its mouth, and you see his hand sticking out. Oh, and I forget what happens. I'm sure everything turns out fine. It's not the death of Robin or anything, but it freaked me out as a kid.
Right.
What freaked me out was do you remember? You remember the Gilligan's Island episode where there was this giant slow moving spider that was in that was in the cave, but it was a really bad it was just this big black pillow with legs.
Right, it was super fake.
Right,
and you could tell
shots from the spider's point of view. Did it have those? Where you see the arms only.
Yeah, but it was also, it looked like it was being pulled by a rope because it had his jerky motions.
Yeah,
and they were oh no, here it comes, and it's blomp, 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 and I'm you could just go to the other side of the island and it'll take 4 days to get over there. But it's just
die of starvation.
That would be really late in the run, right?
Yeah,
when Gilligan's Island's top-notch production values had started slipping a little bit.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Little buddy. Boop. Gilligan.
Oh, that's insane.
Yeah.
I gotta watch that.
Speaking of being creeped out, I'm one of the only. I think I'm the only person who remembers this. So maybe I made it up, but I remember there being an episode of Sesame Street where Oscar the Grouch talks Bob, the human, one of the actual people, Bob, to come into his trash can that he lives in. Like they're having some it was like oh yeah, I dare you to come in here. So all right, and he goes in, and he's gone for the rest of the episode. But then at the end of the episode, Bob crawls out of the trash can, and he's covered in just shit and cobwebs and just garbage. And he's this is brought to you by the letter L and the number 5. And as they're doing that, it's just the background of that is just Bob crawling back home from Oscar's trash can. And I remember that, and nobody else does.
You know what? Nobody else does, because like the clown rapist on Little House.
That is documented. It was on television. No. I've shared with you evidence that is not a figment of my imagination.
Any of the evidence.
It happened.
You dreamt it. And
that's our next podcast, is watching that 1 year at a time.
Now, wouldn't it be funny, though, if he crawled in there and then they show it, him inside, and it's this vast, penthouse apartment, very very nice and high tech marble.
Yeah. Well, I think it is supposed to be huge, right?
And modern.
Yeah, and you go down there.
Do you like gin martini, vodka martini?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and and Oscar's dressed like a hip,
Yeah, he puts on a smoking jacket or something.
A nice jacket. Right.
Yeah.
And he's walking around. Yeah.
Welcome to my boudoir, Bob. That's my Oscar the Grouch.
Right. Exactly. You want a Chesterfield?
Please take your shoes off.
Yeah, his house is like Jackie Treehorn's house.
Log jamming.
Boom, bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 ba-dum, bum.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I don't know. What else?
Yeah, there's really. I don't know. What else? What else?
We kind of made a joke about going through the minute really quickly, but there's really nothing to go back for. There's nothing.
No.
That's what's annoying about the scene is you can tell that it's sort of ad-libbed. I think I said this before about another minute in this scene. All
right, screw the minute. You know what?
All right,
screw the minute. This is the story of how me and Dan met.
All right.
All right. All right, gather around, for I have news.
Hang on, I got my popcorn. Okay, I got my big oversized soda pop.
No, this one's not embellished.
No, this is not embellished at all.
I know, because I've heard him tell it before.
This one's
decides to be accurate for one story. Yeah, this is Woodward and Bernstein all of a sudden.
Yeah. I got my sources. Yeah, I got my
journalistic
sources.
integrity.
Yeah. Right. So this is like what? What grade were we in? How old were we?
About 16 years old, maybe.
Okay, about 16 years old. Yeah, because I remember I
15.
I arrived in my own car at this time. Okay?
Yeah.
So Dan and I both played baseball pretty much our entire lives. Mm-hmm. So I think I think this was, maybe senior year, the summer of senior year in high school, or just after senior year.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
Senior
about
year
92.
in high school. Yeah. Yeah, because this is when I was playing for Ferndale Legion. Legion. You were playing for Berkeley, correct?
That's right.
Okay. So the first time we met was in the parking lot before a game. We both had a game that day. All right. And when you're playing baseball back in the 90s, everybody's a jarhead. Everybody's everybody's cut from the same cloth. They have no creativity. This is at least where we grew up. There's no critical thinking. There's no thinking outside the box. There's nobody admiring a piece of artwork anywhere.
Right.
It's just not.
No crippling
it's just not
neuroses that we like in cool people.
Yeah. So I'm there and I'm walking to my game, and I notice somebody wearing a Primus T-shirt. All right, and this someone is a misshapen head, so it's Dan. I go, who's that chap with the misshapen head and the Primus T-shirt? So I go up to him and I go, hey, it's a joke. I go, you like Primus? I like Primus. And he goes, yeah, what the fuck's it to you? And I said, all right then. I go, we're done here then. And that was it. I walked away. Okay.
Yeah.
would you like to add anything to it? Because there's more to the story.
That is true,
but I would like your take on that. Mm-hmm.
But I'll explain it by saying that I had when you first told me that story, I didn't believe you, but then I realized that it was true because I sort of remembered it. Maybe it's like one of those implanted memories at this point, but it does make sense because I went through a phase of sort of thinking like I would be a more intense and stronger competitor if I was an all-out war and I focused on it that way and I didn't care what anybody thought about anything. And I think my for two reasons, my reflexive response to that is, what the fuck do you care? In part because I had that attitude, but also because I think I was probably a little on edge from being a little different than the other players. And so when you said, do you like Primus? I don't know if you're going to say, you're one of those greasers who likes Primus. I don't know. I'm also ready for you to be an asshole. Yeah. So I say, what do you? Challenge me on liking Primus and see what happens there, bud.
Yeah. All of a sudden, this is like a scene from Quadrophenia. It's like the mods and the rockers about to have it out in the parking lot.
Right.
Yeah. No, but so that was it. So I said, we're done here then. I'm going to go now. And I remember him explaining it later. He had this, around baseball, he was an insufferable asshole to anybody who was not on his team. Sure. Whatever. So now we fast forward a couple years. I go to St. Leo College in Florida to play baseball. I played 1 year and stopped playing. But the next year, I'm there. I'm just enjoying myself. This is probably
getting Pearl Jam tattoos.
Yeah, I got my Pearl Jam.
Living the life.
Yeah, I had the long hair and the flannel shirts and the 18-hole docks.
Right.
So I show up after the summer break. I show up, and then there's this guy staring at me. Again, there's that misshapen head.
Yeah.
And he's staring at me.
1,200 miles from
1,200 miles away. He's staring at me. He's sitting in his dorm room. I go visit my friend, and he's roommates with one of my friends. And it's Dan. I said, who are you? And he goes, I'm Dan, and I'm here to play baseball.
What the fuck do you care?
Yeah, what the fuck do you care? I go, okay, we're done here. No, but the same thing happened. He started with this attitude.
No, and I didn't.
You did. You had a little bit of you started to have that attitude again. Stop nothing.
Okay.
You had a shitty attitude then, too. And I said, okay.
I did not.
I go, you
at
two,
that point in life.
I go, you and my friend Jarrett, you guys have a good time together, the two of you.
Oh,
we had a little bit of fun, but it was still, the connection wasn't there at this point.
Yeah.
So after one semester, he leaves the school and goes to a different school. He's gone.
Yeah.
So he's out of my life once again. So I finish up school, and I moved to Chicago. And this is probably 6 years later, maybe.
7 years later, but 2000.
7 years. Yeah, 2000. So I had latched onto this men's baseball league in Chicago, just a fun time league.
You just give you an idea of the change there. The first league we met in was American Legion, which was the high-level leagues for when we were younger. Yeah. So we were hot-shot 15-year-olds. Yeah. Then in college, it was like we were on the cusp, we didn't quite fit in kind of thing. Fast forward 7 years to when we're, 20 in our late 20s. Yeah. And now we're playing in adult men's retirement leagues. Guys who still want to play baseball but aren't really, it's not competitive anymore.
So we bottom out in the Midwest Suburban League. Which is pretty much MSL for short. Yeah. So, and actually, so I'm playing on this team. It's like my third year with it. We have our tryouts. In the winter we go and have indoor tryouts. And who shows up again? Mr. Dan. And then at this point we're like, okay, now we got to get on the same page here because this shit's going to keep happening.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep going to different places and you're going to show up.
It's like a shitty romantic comedy.
It really is.
Yeah, so we when buried.
Danny met Mike.
Yeah, we talked it out. We buried our differences.
We talked it out. Yeah. It's so dramatic, so melodramatic.
But so then we played on that league for a couple of years, and then the rest is history. Now we're on this fucking podcast.
Yeah,
God, that's beautiful.
Right.
Did you even know that you were both going to be on this podcast when you agreed to be on this podcast?
No.
And then you saw each other like, hey, it's you.
Yeah. You invited me separately, and then you invited Mike separately, and then it just was one of those.
And
Oh,
then
you guys knew each other. I had no idea.
Bit of serendipity. We're star-crossed friends.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So wait, you reconnected with Dan finally in like 2000? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's weird. That's like after you and I became friends, Mike.
Yeah, actually,
at
you
school.
came. I remember one time when you came with. You came to one of our games.
I did.
Tom, you came.
I would never
you
do
came,
that.
No, you came because you came out to like we played a game in Midlothian.
Television must have been broken.
Yeah, and Tom came with.
I lost my
'cause
magic
then-
cards.
because then we went out to eat after.
Oh yeah.
Well, you
I
came
do
out
remember that.
and Dan was on the team then.
Midlothian.
Yeah, that was the remember that team that we played. Dan with all the guys had all the mustaches.
Yeah, I do.
That was the day Tom was there, and
that's
Dan caused such a ruckus. He was because he was in his ass. He was always in his asshole mode when it came to baseball.
Right.
And that was the one when everybody surrounded you. You remember?
Yeah.
Did you remember that story?
I was like Frankenstein.
You told somebody's girlfriend in the stands like, "Oh, sit down," or put a cork in it to the woman. What did you say to her?
I said something
Well, you said, "Sit down, old."
Oh, you make me say this right now.
You know what you said? Like,
I said,
"Sit down, old."
Grandpa, to an older guy in the stands.
And then the team came out and they surrounded you. One guy still had the bat.
And Mike had to like get me out of trouble every time.
My bodyguard.
We lost the game once. We lost the game once, and it was one of those things that we'd be up by a bunch of runs. And to me, it's like it's a Sunday. I just want to play a game of baseball and not get crazy about it.
Yeah.
and we're up by like 3 runs in the last inning, and we blow it. And it's just blowing up because these are guys that can't really play baseball, and so the ball would go between their legs, or they'd throw the ball. We'd lose the game.
Yeah.
And Dan would just start. He would turn into the Hulk at this point.
I never liked to lose.
He didn't
I don't
like to lose. So we walk out to his car. He had this Ford 150.
Ford Ranger.
Ford
Still
Ranger.
have it.
You
Same car.
The same exact
Really?
one.
Awesome.
Same car. It's got 70,000 miles on it. It's a year
Oh, wait a
2000.
minute. This is the thing I don't understand. And we're going to get back to the story. I just put a bookmark where I was.
Okay.
You have 70,000 miles on that car.
Yeah.
I have a car that's like 4 years old, and I have like 60,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
Actually, I have like 65,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
How does that happen? Why do I have more miles than anybody else in the history of the world? It always happens.
I have a 17-year-old car. Yeah, it's got 80,000 on it now. I
Just
don't
drive it to
take
the grocery
anywhere.
store and home.
You don't need a car. What do you need a car for all the time?
All right. Well, anyways, we're walking to that Ford Ranger, and I'm like, I don't want to have a shitty ride home. because we're about to have a shitty ride home, and I know it. It's like I'm happy I got out in the sunshine. I had a couple base hits maybe, and I feel okay about myself. And Dan is just not having any of it.
Personal accomplishments, not the team. Right.
No, it's about I just had a good time. I'm getting close to 30 at this point. At this point in my life, I'm not going to let this go, but I'm not going to let this affect me. So we get to his car, and Dan's, and when he gets like this, you can't talk to him.
Yeah.
Because he'll just disregard everything you say. So it's like the silence as you're walking to the car. He gets in the car and he pulls out he has one of those Case Logic CD cases. This was back when we had like just when he had the CD players were still in the cars.
Yeah.
So he had all his CDs there. He throws it on the floor, and he throws it on the gravel parking lot, and he starts smashing them with his bat. and he's smashing his CD cases and his CDs. And he's hurling them into this little retention pond that's right there. And he's done it.
That
and
didn't
he's
happen.
It did. Don't fuck with me because it did happen.
I put it back in the car. I didn't litter.
But you threw 1 or 2 into this retention.
No.
Why?
Just the Pearl Jam.
You're inventing things, Jim. We don't.
Why do I?
About
Wait
littering.
a minute.
I've always felt this way about littering.
But why do I remember the retention pond?
Because you remember a lot of goofy bullshit. I don't know, because your electroshock treatments or something.
Wait a minute. All right. So either way, okay. whether you threw them in there or not, it's not the most. You did smash your CDs with a bat, did you not?
I did not disagree with that part.
Okay.
I'm just saying that I didn't
so
litter.
He smashes them all up. Okay, for the sake of the story, he did not litter, but he smashed them all
It's
up.
degenerate behavior.
And I do remember him throwing some shards back into the car. So some of them, maybe one went to the. I think one just just for principle alone went to the retention pond. The rest went.
Yeah, Mike, are you sure some of the shrapnel didn't get any endangered species?
But I do remember him violently picking up the shards and hurling them into the front seat of his car, because at that point he's just throwing everything into the front seat, and I'm just standing back, just silently watching. And we get in the car, and I just looked at him. I said, "You know those were your CDs, right?" He's like, "I know." And you were like, "I know. I don't like to fucking lose. I know, but you just smashed all your CDs."
Yeah.
You lost twice.
You know, in my defense, though, a couple things. I don't. First of all, after those situations, I was very, I think,
we did have
fun and cool about 5 minutes later.
Yeah, we did have we had a fun ride home where
I know how to flip out of it.
Yeah, if he just didn't allow himself that release valve, we would have had a really uncomfortable ride home.
Well, I'll just tell you right. Yeah, and also I don't. First of all, that's in my past. It's not. I haven't even had the urge to do anything like that.
You haven't had any CDs since then.
Well, I do.
Yeah.
I do agree that Dan has.
Now, which is extremely frustrating.
Keep destroying your computers.
I don't know what to do.
How am I supposed to smash my music?
Also, Mike, with all your goddamn stories, the cantaloupe story, the other one, and this one, I must have done something right at some point, because we did wind up close friends.
Of course.
And then when I tore my ACL right there on the field,
Who was
all
there?
I remember is staring.
Who was there?
I staring at the clouds and watching them go by as I laid on my back, knowing that the gunshot I just heard was my knee.
Oh.
And just staring at the clouds, watching them go by, and I hear these footsteps, like these running footsteps coming closer and closer, this big hulking footsteps coming closer and closer, and it was Mike running as quickly as he can to get out there, so I must have done something right.
Yeah.
He's a teddy bear, this guy.
Yeah.
There's love there.
Yeah.
But and you know what? Because this was during a game. We were down like 7 runs, and we had nobody out, and we had this guy on. It was our third base coach. He was just a real casual guy. He was the kind of guy that everything just happens. Everything's easy for this guy, you know. He was in some he was a drummer in some cheesy band, and and I remember because this is when. And he was like, there was always people at his shows, and it aggravated me. I'm like, how do you get hundreds of people at your show? The music's terrible. But anyways, I digress. He's the third base coach. And it was a base hit. Dan's on second base. We're down 7 runs late in the game. There's no business to send him home. You see what I'm saying? I know, Tom, you were just talking Taiwanese to you right now.
Talking about,
I understand, but the articles and some of the verbs.
The point is
you lose 7-1 as opposed to 7-0.
Yeah.
It doesn't
The point
make a difference.
the point is
you don't
need
send the runner home.
Right. You need runs in bulk. So there's zero reason for you to risk getting thrown out at the plate on a run that's meaningless.
Tear the ACL.
The guy is just not even looking. He's waving like Pete Townsend playing the guitar, waving him around.
June 7th, 2003.
And Dan gets, the ball arrives 10 steps in front of Dan. So he just tries to stop, and you hear the sound. And you hear the sound. It's just like
snap.
It's like a pop, and he goes down. And I started
pain to this day because of this guy sending me home playing a Pete Townsend guitar solo as I look at him as a third base coach.
At Hoghead McDonough's, that's where he used to play all the time.
He played at Hoghead McDonough's on Fullerton.
Yeah. And I remember I was screaming at him. Why you don't fucking send somebody home down 7 runs late in the fucking game?
He likes
you know what he's gonna do to you?
I'm screaming at him. You don't send a fucking runner home down 7 runs. Now look at him. He's laying on the stretcher.
That's my friend.
Because the ambulance came, didn't it? Did we call the ambulance?
Yeah,
somebody called the
ambulance ride, and that cost me about 10 years of salary to pay off.
So fast forward to another.
You don't need an ambulance ride for an ACL.
So he has surgery, and who's there to pick him up? I am. So I go to pick him up at the hospital to take him home, and he's just miserable. As you should
took
be.
the day off of work, Tom.
Yeah, I took the day off work
back from the surgical center
to go pick him up. So we deliver him to his door, and he opens up his mail.
Like a third floor walk up.
Yeah, but he's there, and Dan at this point was trying to make a change, and he was trying to get into to school to go to get his certification for teaching, right?
Yeah, I wanted to be a teacher. Yeah,
so he wanted to be a teacher. He wanted to get into grad school for teaching, and he got his rejection letter right there and then. He opened up the mail.
I missed some of the paperwork. Yeah.
And he goes, and he made some comment like, "Nope, I'm not gonna, nothing fucking wins. I can't win at anything." And he crumpled up the paper and just threw it on the sidewalk.
No, I didn't. I'm always littering in your stories. I've never littered. What the hell are you talking about?
Well, maybe that's the way I wanted to see that one. Fine.
Yeah, I guess so.
Or he crumpled it up and violently shoved it into his pocket.
Right.
Then we took him upstairs.
Violently putting it into recycling.
And then we took him upstairs and laid him down, and that was that.
Yeah. Mike carried me up the stairs, Tom.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh!
And made sure he had a bag of ice for his ice bucket.
Right.
You guys.
Yeah.
There's more
beautiful.
stories there with the ice bucket. We'll get into that later, Mike.
It's like
You
a
should
mice and
get
men.
into it right now. Why not?
No. I've got ice bucket stories too.
Yeah.
I got the whole relationship out of the ice bucket.
Does she
Jesus.
listen to the podcast?
No, she's not going to listen to the podcast.
Then tell the
She-
goddamn story. So Dan has this apparatus on his knee. Want me to save it? You want me to save it?
I'm just saying, we've had enough. Listen,
Yeah, we've had enough for one day.
We
You
might
gotta
want to
leave-
space it out.
Yeah, you got to
space
leave
it out.
You got to leave a couple bullets in the chamber, right?
Right.
That's right. That's right.
Right.
And look, we're excited to come back for 54. God damn it!
Yeah.
54. I'm telling
Finally
you,
gonna have some
Stories.
characters we give a shit about.
we might have to do. We might have to do like a marathon session for 54
Yeah.
and 55 and maybe 56.
More stories of these American assholes.
No, I'm saying this is the pinnacle. This is like
Yeah.
this is these. We're sitting at the base of Kilimanjaro at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great ascent in the next minute where things start to get real good.
Yeah.
Well, let's get out of here then. Let's.
Stay tuned, people.
All right.
Oh, and if you
Oh,
think
it's my
if you
cue
think
to like to ramblingly end the
oh, you know what?
episode, isn't it?
Let me just finish with this. If the listeners think that we're getting close to being out of stories, oh no.
Oh,
no.
Yeah, lest you think we're out of stories. We're not even close, people.
No.
Not even close.
don't you worry. And if we do run out of stories, my gosh, we got Caddyshack to watch. But listen, thank you. Now you know the origin story of the Dan and Mike romance. And come back next time for minute 54, where by golly we'll see Judge Smales again. It
seems like
I'm
it's been an
a drowning,
eternity, yeah.
starving man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
It is.
Well, Rodney, even both of those guys.
Oh my God, I couldn't be more excited.
It's going to be great.
Even Spalding. I haven't seen Spalding in the longest time.
haven't
I know.
seen Spalding.
Wow, this movie got weird for a while.
Haven't seen
With the-
Terry. Haven't seen Chuck Schick.
Chuck,
Yeah.
buddy.
All right.
All right.
Bang, bang,
Well, we'll
bang,
see
bang,
them
bang,
next
bang,
time.
bang,
We'll see
bang,
you
bang,
next
bang,
time.
bang, 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 bang,
You make me
bang,
think I
bang.
should actually leave my jaw harp here.
Yeah,
so
why
I
don't you
should
bring your
I can-
jaw harp and play us
play
out
it.
next time? Now,
I think I
Tom
will.
will play us out. What does that mean? Play us out?
play us out? There's no words on
There's
it.
no words on it.
To end the show?
We'll do it live.
To end the show,
Can I ask you a
we'll do
question?
it live. I'll write it. We'll do it live.
Can I ask
Do
you?
it live.
Can I ask you
Fucking
a
thing
jaw?
sucks.
Can I ask you a jaw harp story? I mean, a question. Now, when you
Yes.
do you twang it? Are you going across your face or are you twanging it outward?
You know what's
It's your
interesting? I think
ancient
whatever I was
Jewish
doing
secret.
first was the. It was bizarre. I was thinking about that commercial earlier today for some reason.
What commercial
Ancient
was it?
Chinese secret, huh?
Ancient Chinese secret.
What was that from again?
It was like some.
What was the
It was like
product?
laundry detergent or something. It was like It
Yeah.
could not be more stereotypical. It's like the Asian family who runs, of course, the laundromat, which I guess was a thing in the 70s or something. And like, and so.
I hate to
but
tell
they-
you, Tom, it's still a thing.
Still a
I
thing,
know it
yeah.
is, but it's like, but you don't see it because we're a little bit more elevated in our thinking. We don't go right there to like these stereotypes. constantly in commercials and TV and stuff.
Right.
But
we wouldn't do it in TV, but
No, we do it in real life. We just don't do it
in real life.
Yeah, we don't do it on TV.
Right. Well, TV is where it counts. So whatever
Ancient
goes
Chinese, a Calgon commercial, ancient Chinese secret.
Yeah,
No, was it
like
Calgon?
the Caucasian mother of 3 brings the filthy clothes to the laundromat, and oh my gosh, what do you do to get these so ancient Chinese secret?
Oh.
And but really, it's just Clorox behind the counter.
Did we end the show?
I think we did end the show.
Yeah.
I don't even know if the
ended,
music
yeah, I
came on.
think.
Did the music come on? Anyway, there's music. Thank
I
you.
already ended the music.
Come back
on.
next time. All right. Caddyshack Minute. You know what to do.
Caddyshack Minute.
Hey, you scratched my ankle.